Hi students, let's look at this question here, which is on financial arithmetic. This is a pretty typical question taken from the year 2021 Hwa Chong Institution Promo question 12. So a lot of my students are actually asking me how to solve this. So let's see how we can do this proficiently. So a couple takes up a housing loan of L dollars. So this is housing loan. And the interest is charged before each monthly repayment at the fixed rate. So each monthly repayment, there's a fixed rate here being charged at P% per annum. Now, P per annum means, this is, be careful, because now you are monthly rate now, monthly repayment. So every 1 year, you are charged P%. Okay, the interest is P%. So, but we know that every 1 year you have 12 months, right? But because the reason why you need to, this is 12 months. Okay, so every 1 month would be 1 month would just be P divided by 12%. Just be very mindful of that. The reason being is because the interest is being stated as per annum, but the charges actually is charged by month. Okay, so this is like a sort of like, usually that's what bank does if they want to, you know, obviously you pay more by just being charged monthly because it compounds more, right? But yeah, let's just move on. So their monthly repayment commences on 1st September 2021. Monthly repayment of X are due and payable on the first day of subsequent month until their housing loan is fully repaid. First day of subsequent months. So X are due first day of subsequent month. Okay, great. Subsequent months. So the first right? The monthly repayment commences of 1st September 2021. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So state the expression in terms of L and P, the interest charged before the first repayment on 1st September 2021. So the first part is state the expression in terms of L and P for the interest charged before the first repayment of the first repayment on 1st September. Because it commences on 1st September, we try to understand this question here. I think the tricky part is to fish out that every month you're actually paying P over 12, P over 12. Okay, so these are, I foresee a lot of students will neglect this. But what you can see is actually this part here. This is a telltale sign. For the second part, you see there's a P divided by 1200. Okay, so that is part of the plan there. So we start off by taking L. So first, try to understand the question first. You take a loan of L. So L, okay. So the interest charge would be, so the expression charge before, for the interest charge. So interest charge, just state an expression. They just want the interest charge. Okay, just read the question properly. You want the interest charge, so you take L, multiply by 100% plus, or is the interest charge? Sorry, not the principal. So P% divided by 12. Okay, so this is the interest charge here. Yeah, just the interest charge, right? First payment on the first K. There you go. So this will be L times P. So we just P, because this is percentage, so we need to divide and make it what they call it, make it into the decimal place here. So this is LP over 12,000. So this is the expression here that we're looking at. So let's look at part 2. So show that the outstanding loan at the start of end month after their monthly repayment is given by this expression here. Now, when it comes to finding general term, just like in secondary school, what you need is actually to be able to pattern recognize. So when it comes to pattern recognition, I always tell my students that you need to be able to have a system to present your working. And the next thing that you need to remember is don't use GC. As much as pattern recognition is concerned, you need a pattern and you don't use your GC to do it. Okay, so don't just remember that. So for part 2, we need to do that first. So try to understand the whole processes here. So they all take a loan of N. It starts off with, let me just write down so I'm going to just put this out. It starts off with 1st September, right? So this is 1st September 1st September, monthly repayment commenced on 1st September, are due and payable on the first day of September until their housing loan is fully paid. They charge, so let's try and understand. So interest is charged before each month repayment. So you charge the interest first, then only you pay. Okay, so interest charge. Okay, then after repayment. This is important. You need to know the sequence here. So 1st September 2021 is this one over here. Maybe I just don't put first, I just put September. Okay, so interest charge will be L times 1 after interest charge. After interest charge. Okay, the amount owed after interest charge, not interest charge, sorry, after interest charge, because the total amount after interest charge. So this will be 1 plus P over 122. This is what it needs, right? Then after which after repayment, what happens here is actually you just minus of X. Then from here, what we'll get is actually just L 1 plus P 1200 minus of X. This is the repayment that he does, right? Then after which, what we need is apply another interest. So after September is October 2021. When you go over to this side here, you need to charge by 1 plus P over 1200. Okay, this is the interest that you need to charge on this. So what we need here is actually just this is a typical question which we've done many times in class. So you should be able to use the what they call it, the worksheet that we've gone through for promo revision set or prelim revision set to be able to do this. Okay, but it's just that a lot of moving parts in terms of because there are a lot of unknowns here. So once you're done, this is minus X. So every time you cross this divide here, just minus of X, because you charge interest here. Then after you repay by an amount of X. So this will be, I'm going to remove the dollar sign because it's getting a bit more. 1000 minus X 1 plus P over. Okay, actually it's quite redundant now. So I could actually see what's going on really. So for this one here, this is November. So the rule of thumb is, when do you stop? You stop when you can actually write the subsequent expression without the intermediate step, without the leading the between steps. Okay, so this case here, if you're gonna do this, is L 1 plus P 1200 and just multiply by this. So this is multiply every term. Okay, every term has to be multiplied. So this, and this. So this will be 1P over here minus X 1 plus P over 1200. Okay, then same thing. What we're going to do is just minus of X here. In this case here, what we get is actually just L 1 plus P over 1200. 1 plus P over 1200 square plus P over 1000 minus X. Okay, there you go. Once you're done, we could just write down what's the next thing is show that the outstanding loan at the start of end month after their monthly repayment is given. So we want the start of end month. So this is start of end month here. This is what we want. Okay, so let me just write it down, the subsequent one, which is we need to multiply by, this is P, the start of end month. So we are looking at the start here. Is it after or after their repayment? After their monthly repayment. After the monthly repayment will be here. Here, this portion, not the start. Okay, so here. So always read the question properly. But anyway, because it's a showing question, you will know that you get it or you don't get it. Okay, now this is what you're gonna do. What you do is we're gonna try and better recognize this. In class, I've mentioned many times, typically when you're trying to better recognize, you need a anchoring number, a running number here. So you can't possibly do this pattern recognition without a running number. So you just put a 1 here, 2, 3, and if you want, you can put a 4. Okay, so then to be safe, what you do is you just write the subsequent pattern here without the intermediate step here. So what we do is this will be 4 minus x 1 plus. If you can safely write this out, means you already can you already know how to pattern recognize it. Okay, so means now you just need to find a way to do your write it down in formula form. Okay, so this case here, remember this part here, this front part here is what we call this is not a GP here. Okay, so there are usually two parts here. The first part is just normal secondary school pattern recognition. The one behind here is a GP. Okay, because you see that whenever you multiply something here, this is multiplied 1 plus p over 1200, and same thing, there's a common ratio here. When you multiply over, there's a L here, so it's not. So there are two parts here. Okay, so let me just separate it out and see how. So this is a GP. This whole thing here is a GP. Here. Okay, so this is a GP. So what I'll usually do is I will just tell student, I'm going to factorize the negative out here, then I'll factorize the negative out, and I'll factorize the negative out here. Okay, here. Just factorize the negative out so that this will become a sum of GP. So GP is the one behind. Then this is just normal secondary school pattern recognition. Okay, so this GP, we'll talk about it. So let's look at nth month. At the end of nth month, after repayment, day one after repayment. So just be mindful of that. Look at this running number. So when this is 1, this is power 1. Okay, this is quite straightforward. Let me just use another color here. So when this is 1, this is 1. This is 2, this is 2, this is 3, this is 3, this is 4, this is 4. So when this is 4, this is L times this whole expression to the power 4. L times, when 3, this is L times this whole expression to the power 3. And L times the whole expression to the power 2. So when it's n, naturally, what you get is actually just L 1 plus P 1200 to the power of n. Okay, so just look at this. This is, when this is 4, this is 4. So when this is n, so n, when this is n, what you expect is this will be power n. For the last part here, this, like I said, we've done this many times in class already. So if you can't do this, please go and get the worksheet that I've compiled for you just to practice this. Okay, if you can't do this, you really need to practice this. It's a very, very common question. What you need to do is actually the first term. First term is actually x. Okay, so first term is x. Common ratio r is actually this 1 plus p over 12. Okay, because every time you go over, you just multiply by 1 plus p over 1200, right? So every time you just multiply by the same term here. So this is multiplied by r, multiplied by r, multiplied by r, multiplied by r, and multiplied by r. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so this is a sum here. So let me just write this sum down for you. This is S1 because there's only sum of one term of this GP. This is S2. So actually this is a pretty simple. This is S3. This whole thing is 3 terms here. This is S4. Okay, so when this is 4, this is S4. When this is 3, this is S3. When this is 2, this will be S2. So if this is n, obviously you will know that this is minus Sn, right? And this over here, Sn, we just use our favorite GP formula, which is actually 1 plus P 1200n. My A is actually, the first term is x. So this over here, the GP formula is actually A r minus 1 over r minus n, r minus 1, r to about n minus 1 over r minus 1. So just put it as x 1 plus P 1200 to the power of n minus 1. This is 1 plus P over 1200 minus 1. And very simply, we did get the answer. Yes, we got the answer there. Yeah, we got the answer there. LP about L. Yes. That's why it's always good I think for showing question usually is good because you will know that your answer is correct. But at the same time, you also know that you're pretty much good if you can get the answer right. Okay, but just keep practicing. Yeah, this is important question, very important. So this will be 12 x over p. I'll just write this down. Okay, 1200 over p is 1 plus p. Do we need to multiply this up in? Okay, yeah, okay, no need. Okay, so that's how we do this questionnaire proficiently. If you have any questions, please let me know and let's look at the subsequent part. So let's look at the next part. The couple is taking a housing loan of 504,000. So here we have this part here, 504,000, and fixed interest of 2.6% per annum. So this means that P is actually equals to 2.6. Okay, we can just use the formula here. And this is our L. This is the principal amount. Calculate the monthly repayment if the couple plans to repay the loan in 30 years. So in other words, this is N equals to 30. Okay, so how do we actually use this formula here? We plan to pay up. So essentially what we want to know is the outstanding of the loan at the end of n month after the repayment is actually this amount here. So we're going to use this formula here. And because we want to pay up in 30 years, so it means we need the amount to be less than 0. Okay, you want it to be equals to 0 or less than 0. Essentially, you do not want to owe anything with the bank. Like you do not owe them anything, right? Don't want to owe the bank anything. So you just make sure that the amount owed is negative, so that theoretically the bank is going to owe you something, but you know that it's not going to happen. Okay, so I'm gonna just write down part 3 is just to use the formula there. So this part here, we already established that the principal amount is 504,000, and then after which P is equals to 2.6 per annum. Okay, so this is 2.6. So N is equals to 30. Okay, so we just need 1 plus 2.6. We just use the formula there. For couples to repay loan in 30 years. Maybe I just write this down. Okay, so maybe just write this down. This will be for couple to repay loan. What we need is P. We're going to use the formula there. So the previous formula, which is this, right? This one here. Right, then I'm going to put this as 2.6 to the power of 30. And L, which is the principal amount, 4,000 minus of 1,200. And this is P, which is 2.6x. And this will be 1 plus 2.6, 1,200. M, which is 30 minus 1. And we need this to be equals to 0 or repay if the plans to repay the loan. Calculate the monthly repayment if you can let it be 0, but you need to put this on top. At most 0. Okay. Can let it be 0. I think it's fine to let it be 0. It means you just absolutely just be 0 at the end in 30 years. Okay. Wait, sorry. This is 30 years. 30 years meaning to say times 12. Nearly died there. So 30 times 12. This, because we did it in months, right? So it will be 360 months. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, what do we need next? Okay, there you go. So this is what we need, and will just be 360. 360 here. Okay, then we're just gonna key in calculator for this. I'm just gonna key this in. This is just a linear inequality. We got 1098534. 707 1200 divided by 0.6. That will be maybe multiplied by the whole thing behind here. 544.445. Okay, so this case here will just be 109853 107 544.4457x and just divide 109 divided by 544 2017.71. Okay, so minimally calculate the monthly repayment if the couple plans to repay in 30. So hence, monthly repayment if you need in 2DP, which I'm just gonna take is 2017.72 2 decimal place. Okay, so that will be my monthly repayment. So you don't round it down because the bank, you need to pay the bank whatever amount. So just make sure that if 2DP, just round it up. Okay, that'll be more appropriate. So that's how I do this question proficiently. If you have any questions at all, please let me know and I'll see you in the next question.